Here's what being locked in for 5 months has made me realize. So, I must be discussing just a few main realizations that I've come across in this period of just being locked in, primarily on my physique and everything that's come alongside that. So, first thing foremost, there is this big thing that I used to think about, which is this: discipline is all it takes to build any element of my life, may that be my physique, business, or anything along those avenues. So, the most interesting thing about that is you use that discipline to build consistency in a certain field of what you're working on. So when it came to building my physique, there's three main avenues in that: training, diet, and sleep, or recovery, let's say. In terms of training, I only train 3 times a week, which would sound like quite insufficient. Like, if you told me when I was training 6 times a week, which is prior to this, right? So from July till November, I was training 6 times a week. I used to go gym. Like, looking back at it now, I'm thinking like, damn, that was crazy. 6 times a week. That boy wasn't eating. That boy wasn't sleeping. Shit. Even progressive overload wasn't happening, but I was going gym 6 times a week. So you look at him and you would think, yeah, he's putting that work in, like he's going to see progress. But truth be told, I saw little to not much progress at all. Maybe I put on 2 kilos in the space of that amount of time. But yeah. What it is with the 3 sessions per week, when I'm going out, I'm fully recovered for each session, more or less, as long as I haven't been straining too much. I'm much more recovered and I'm able to push myself much harder in each session. As long as I train with that full intensity and my mind is locked in on the session, which 90% of the time it is, I have no issue pushing out a good session. Usually my sessions run anywhere between like an hour and 15 to maximum hour and 45. And I just take adequate rest in between each set, so I'm able to push near failure. You don't have to go towards failure, only go towards failure if you have a spot or are safe to do so. And then the other element which I used discipline for was my diet. So my diet prior to locking in was all over the place. In fact, it was more like I didn't really eat as much calories as I should be eating, because to be quite honest, I still find eating to be a chore, but it's just much more manageable now because I know how to navigate it, because it's become a habit rather than something that I require discipline to actually pursue. So for example, I know what I'm having for breakfast and I know what's going to last me another day. It's the same 2 things I have every single day. In the morning, I have a masculine shake which has 1,200 calories. At night, I have anywhere between 6 to 8 eggs. That's 500 calories. And just the protein across those 2 meals is already 90 to 100 grams. And my daily target for protein is about 150. So I have 4 meals in total. The 2 meals in between throughout the day, usually quite repetitive, but I do have a little leeway with what I have. So what that literally means is brain dead. It's repeating the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't require discipline anymore, because once it becomes a consistent habit, you don't even have the mental friction to doing that habit. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, starting the gym started off with me just going to the gym, but then eventually you find yourself stacking on habits which are related to going to the gym, such as fixing your diet, fixing your recovery, which essentially just means supplementation / sleeping correctly. Basically just fixing your sleep hygiene, more or less. That's essentially what recovery comes down to at the end of the day. So once you have used the discipline to initially get past that mental friction that comes at the start of anything that you pursue, it becomes consistent. And consistency beats discipline practically 10 times out of 10. Like, yeah. The only times you require discipline, or I found that I require discipline, is certain days. Yeah, I do come back home from work, I feel shattered. And I don't want to go gym. Like, I freshen up, I sit on the bed, and my body, every cell inside that body is saying, take a nap, go to bed. Like, you're tired. But I only train 3 times a week, so I ain't got a choice but to go in. And what I realize more time is the session that I end up not feeling like going into, I end up performing much better than I would have ever expected. Like, not only am I still pushing better numbers than I did the last session, but I'm coming out, I got a good pump, and overall I just feel like, wow, like, it goes to show how much your mind underestimates what your body is capable of. So that's another realization that we have come across. In terms of sleep and whatnot, I was a lot more doubting at the start. So much more doubting. Recently I have been a bit slacking with it, but it's because I realized I can get away with it in certain elements. It's not great. My recovery has dropped by like give or take 20%. I'm talking about like on the Whoop app. Like I use the Whoop, whatever you want to call it. My recovery is roughly like 50%. But last week was shambolic. It was like 40%. I'll make another video about that one. But yeah, so about 50% recovery. I was averaging about 65% prior to that. That's primarily due to just bad quality sleep. But yeah, so when you focus on your sleep hygiene, essentially keep it simple. Just sleep at the same time, try to wake up at the same time. For me, it's quite simple because I work 6 days a week, so I'm kind of forced to wake up and sleep at the same time a day. Having a job in that sense does help. So that's that one. What I want to talk about next is the progress that you make when you've actually been locked in on anything is actually insane. Like if you went back in time to me 5 months ago, I think I've been saying 4 months the whole time, but it's been 5 months since November. If you went back to me 5 months ago and you showed me what I currently look like, covered my face and said, that's you in 5 months, I wouldn't even have dreamt of it, let alone think that would have been possible, because it doesn't make sense. Think about it. I'm at all-time highs of my body weight. I'm leaner than I've ever been at 60 kg. So compared to my 60 kg bulk, which I did years ago, which took me like 5 years to do, this bulk, I'm up 9 kg at this point. I'm weighing 63 kilos. We started at 54 in November. So I'm still leaner than I was at that 60 kg where I reached before. And that just goes to show, if you lock in rather than just dilly-dally and just do whatever you want, stuff your face with whatever crap food you want, because calories is calories, whatever that bullshit's about. Real talk, just think about it. You eat clean food, the way it's going to reflect in your body is completely different to you eating shit food. Yeah, I understand. You can put on weight a lot faster if you eat or dirty bulk. And I understand the reason why people do, because that's initially what I did, because the whole thesis of just put on the weight, you put on muscle mass and mass moves mass, etc. Yes, to a certain extent. But bro, when I was 60 kg, I was still benching 60 kilos. Right now I'm 63 kilos and my PR is about 80 kilos. I understand, to today's standards or today's societal expectations, 80 kg is not a lot. Like 140 is at the new 100, but I'm going to hit 100 kg. And this is all happening within the space of less than a year. Like, I'm going to be peak bulk within the next 3 months, right? I'm going to hit my 100 kg bench before that. And probably even go higher than that. That's the plan. But this is all happening from November 2025 to 2026, July. So just understand, if you lock in, the progress that you will see is actually insane. Like, you won't believe it for yourself until you see it with your own eyes. Matter of fact, even when you see it with your own eyes, you won't even be able to comprehend it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The amount of times, so I don't wear headphones in the gym, right? So in between my sets, I'm kind of just looking around. So I sometimes just staring at myself in the mirror, but sometimes looking around, like sometimes like I might see another guy and I'm like, damn, he's got good arms. Damn, he's got a good physique, like, da-da-da. More often than not, I'll actually tell them that, unless they're like wearing headphones. But besides that, sometimes in my peripheral vision, I see myself, but in my mind, I don't register that as me until I realize it is myself. But even in my mind, I compliment myself before I realize that's me. I'm like, damn, that guy looks kind of big. Shit, looks like he's looking at me. And then I'm like, oh shit, wait, that's me, bro. And like, that's actually crazy. Like, this might sound like corny, but I'm not even like, no word of a lie. That's literally what happens. Like, I'm just like, okay. Yeah, I forgot to mention, I'm kind of blind at the same time. So like, yeah, that doesn't help. So like, but it adds to why it's a bit more believable, because If I'm sitting far away from the mirror, I can see my reflection, I can see what I look like, but I can't exactly see all the features in HD detail because my eyesight is definitely not 2020. So that is what I was talking about in terms of locking in and the progress that you see. Like, it'll be unreal. Like, yeah, that's all I have to say on that one. Overall, what I realize is, even when I go into, like, let's say, like, I have like a shit day or a shit week or whatever, my ruts now are much better than the ruts I would have fallen into before. So, for example, if I fall off now, like, a bad day for me is like, I come home, I go gym, and I'm just stuck in my head because I'm overthinking about something. Like, that is like a rut for me. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to work, still going to gym, still creating content. Overall, still being a productive human. It's just the fact that, particularly for that day or week, I just don't feel great. But at the end of the day, as long as everything is getting done, fuck the feelings, man. More or less, you end up feeling overall just better. You have a better positive outlook towards life. That's one thing that's really been interesting for myself. Like, I love the consistency that just bleeds into every other element of life. So, for example, I haven't been a big supplement person because personally, the ideology that I had behind the supplements was, I'm not going to order anything high quality off Amazon, for example. I don't believe it could be high quality. I'm still on the fence, but give or take, they do have some sort of regulations which I have looked into. Not sure how credible it is, but I have started to take supplements again. Before, when I tried to take supplements, I'll be on and off. I'll be like taking it one day, not taking it the next. You're not going to see anything that way. It's like with training. If you train 3 times a week, but you only go to 2 sessions, sometimes 1 session, sometimes all 3, you can't expect progress, bro. You're going to get fat. You're going to get fat. If you're training 3 times a week and you're missing half of those sessions, you're going to get fat. So that's that. With the supplement story, I've been very consistent. It's brain dead. It's actually so easy to just start a new habit, stack it onto something that's already existent, and just build on top of it. So, yeah, even making content. Like, yeah, if you guys noticed, I haven't posted 3 times this week. This is going to be my second video, and I'm going to film a third video as well. But it's all coming out this week because, number one, sometimes life happens, and when life happens, you just need to adapt and overcome. Number 2, stick to your word because consistency is king. And number 3, I don't have a number 3 for you guys. But yeah, this is just a little, I don't even know what to call this style of video. It's just what I felt like I'm making. I appreciate you guys tapping in. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in my next video, which will be uploaded tomorrow. So turn on your post notifications and whatever else people say. I'll catch you guys later.